breaking news that's coming in, the two things that have authoritatively been decided as the law of the land. We're going to tell you, it's also saying uniform is a reasonable restriction. So the Chief Justice Awasthi now states that the uniform is a reasonable restriction, which means now that anyone who wants to enter the classrooms will have to adhere to the norms of wearing a uniform. The Chief Justice says, we of the considered opinion, no case is made out in the writ petition, which means it's possible that the petitioner's writ petition before the Karnataka High Court could be dismissed. The court says there is no case made out by the petitioners. After a marathon hearing in which the petitioners gave out their grounds and the state gave out their ground, finally an authoritative judgment from the Karnataka High Court. That's going to be the law of the land. And breaking news, the Karnataka High Court dismisses the pleas that are challenging the government order that had said uniforms have to be worn. This is extremely crucial because in just the first 4 minutes of being inside the courtroom, the judges have given out the crucial aspects of a judgment that is going to be the law of the land. Number one, they've said, viewers, hijab is not an essential religious practice. Number two, they've said uniform is a reasonable restriction. Number three, they've said they believe that the writ petition has no case made out. And finally, after giving out these three solid points on which they've decided authoritatively, the bench is about to get up. The Karnataka High Court dismisses the plea challenging the government order. All right, as that happened, all the three judges have risen and they have left the courtroom after giving out the crucial part, the authoritative part of the Karnataka High Court judgment. And the big breaking news that's coming in 4 minutes into that verdict that the judges have now left the courtroom. The court has now been told the hijab is not an essential religious practice. Very soon when the judgment is with us, we'll be getting out and giving out more details about what happened. But in just 4 minutes, a controversy that erupted across India and several places in Udupi and in Karnataka, we're now seeing that hijab is not an essential religious practice. This will also have bearing in all the other cases in all the other places in India. Uniform is a reasonable restriction, which means the court has upheld the government order and said any college can have a uniform they want to maintain uniformity, something that the Advocate General said. Viewers, in just a short while from now, Republic TV is going to get you the first views of the Advocate General of Karnataka, the top law officer of Karnataka, who shall possibly be giving us a briefing. The Karnataka High Court has dismissed each and every plea that had challenged the government order before them and said we believe that no case is made out in the writ petition. I want to, as I'm continuing to go to stay with the pictures, want to go across to all our reporters. We have Sagaraj reporting from the epicenter of where the protest broke out in Udupi. We have Anedi, who's going to be shortly joined with the Advocate General, and Ananya, who got us that breaking news, our legal reporter. Ananya, this is very crucial because even as you heard, what was the body language of the judges when they were talking? What was the tone and tenor in the Karnataka High Court?
Well, yes, as soon as the bench sat rhythm, this was Chief Justice Awasthi in the center with Justice Krishna S. Dixit to his right and Justice J.M. Kazi to his left. The Chief Justice, after signing the judgment, the judgment was signed by the three of them, and then the Chief Justice started to pronounce the order in a very, very polite manner. He clearly stated that we have formulated certain questions which would be answered by us. The first question was whether hijab is an essential religious practice, and the answer which the Karnataka High Court gives, the three judges bench, the full bench of the Karnataka High Court gives, is that hijab is not an essential religious practice and is not covered under the Article 25 of the Constitution of India. Second, whether the GO sustains or whether the GO goes. Clearly, the Karnataka High Court says that the GO sustains and the government order is correct, and the uniform is a very, very reasonable restriction levied under the provisions of the Constitution of India, and the GO is not at all legally incorrect or arbitrary. In fact, at the end of it, when the court was going on to conclude, it clearly stated that the petitions the petitions were dismissed as they have no reasonable ground to be entertained, and there is no case made out by the petitioners in order to get hijab as an essential religious practice. Rhythm.